Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Momentum Chat. I am Ajita Bay, your financial conductor, joined by
Mr. John Charles Epting Jr. Good to be with you guys tonight.
absolutely, man. You want to definitely tune in. We're going to be having a great conversation tonight. So, like this, share it with a friend, and you want to get the men in your life on this tonight, right? You want them to listen in. We're going to be talking about how's the health of the men in your life. So, stay tuned. We'll be getting started in just a moment. good evening, and welcome again to Momentum Chat. I am Majida Bay, your financial conductor, and I'm joined as always by my esteemed mentor and colleague, Mr. John Epting Jr., senior financial broker in the financial services industry with over 20 years of experience. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a man of God. And so I think we couldn't have anybody better to have a conversation with us tonight about this topic. How's the health of the men in your life? So, John, how are you doing? First of all, let's just catch up. How are you doing? What's been going on?
I appreciate that. I'm doing pretty good, actually. Of course, every day is a new day, right? And it really starts in your mindset and how you get up in the morning and stuff like that. Actually, I think it starts the night before, how you go to bed. I notice when I go to bed correctly, right? I brush my teeth. I actually wash my face. I put that expensive crap on my face to not age so fast and stuff like that. The moisturizer. I'm actually using moisturizer. What is up with this? Right? I notice I get up different, right? When I pre-plan my day, which is a normal thing for me, but when I pre-plan my day, when I already put things in place, I wake up a lot different. But wow, it's funny you were talking about this. I'm wondering, considering Father's Day is coming up, like what made you decide that today would be a topic of men? How's the health in the men in your life? Like, where the heck did that come from?
So I went and Googled the national months, right? You know how like every month.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I saw that it was Men's Health Month. All right.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, this would tie in, really well. Father's Day is coming up. And
wow.
I think it's important, and I've learned this and seen this from your example, as well as some examples from other men in my life, how important it is for men to lead, in their families and in their homes. And so I think we don't give enough attention to men's health, right? Like there's all this stuff about women's health and, women by nature, I think, kind of nurture and embrace one another when it comes to taking care of their health, from their mental health to their physical health, right? There's a lot of encouragement, but I don't think we talk enough about it with our men. So I've definitely heard you, through this platform, share different things that you're doing with your health. And so I just wanted to have a conversation specifically for the men tonight. So happy Father's Day first to all of the fathers out there.
Yes,
the fathers, grandfathers, uncles, all right. All the men out there who are making a difference in the lives of their families, their communities, and their countries, even. And so, happy Father's Day, early Father's Day from us here at Momentum Chat. But let's talk about it. Let's get into it, John. So, why would you say, or what would you say is the most important part of your health, right? Like, what would you say is the most important part of you being healthy? And why is that important to you?
That's actually scriptural. And so I'll go ahead and say what the most important part is. Let me say it this way: it's my spiritual health first, right? And there's some people who aren't spiritual or anything, right? So I'm gonna just put that out there. But spiritual health. But then after that, let's act like you're not a spiritual person. You don't believe in God or something. I don't get that, but You don't believe in God. Okay. The very next one is your mental health. And that's biblical, right? Because what goes on in here can damage everything else. You know, a lot of times, a lot of the reason people are in the hospitals or dealing with things in their body is it because of what was going on in here. It wasn't actually the actual sickness. It's something eating them. And a lot of times it happens in the body. But I myself, but of course, I'm coming up on 50 years old this year. And and I just think about my health a lot differently than I did when I was 22, 23, 24 years old. And I wish I was a little bit more serious about my health. I was a pretty healthy guy, worked out, I ran a lot. I ran a lot more then than I do now. I tried my best to take care of myself, even though I was overweight even then. But at my endurance levels and the things I could do was different. But now I have, injuries and body aches and things like that. So I'm paying attention to my health a little bit differently than the average man. And then I'm also more transparent about it, because I realize I'm probably losing brothers because we don't talk about it. So I have to talk. So somebody has to talk about it to give other people, to liberate others to talk about it. Right. So Absolutely. When it comes to my mental health, when it comes to my, I'm going to be 50. Right. So, and believe it or not, 4 years ago, I was supposed to go get a colonoscopy. There's, as a black man, they say we should start getting tested for that stuff, 5 years before. But 50 is normally the number. Like my buddies are turning 50 and they all went and got colonoscopies and they're telling me how it is. And I'm like, I still haven't scheduled it. But yeah, I'm probably losing brothers. I know I am. I don't wonder it. I know I'm losing brothers. And also their lives are being damaged. They may not have passed away or died, but their marriages are failing because we don't pay attention to certain things and we're not talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
no, that's good. That's good. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, right? Like I love how you phrased that. Are we losing brothers because we're not talking about our health? And it doesn't just extend to like our physical health, right? Our mental health, even our financial health. Yeah, absolutely.
Mental health, your spiritual health, your relational health. How healthy are your relationships? Sometimes we have some very toxic relationships just because they're old. Right? Just because they're old. Just because you've been friends with somebody for 30 years doesn't necessarily mean you should be around them all the time. You should, some people stay your friend as you change just so they can remind you of who you were. Right? Now, hey, wait. Now, mind you, I have some friends like that. Like that. But see, it doesn't damage me. See, I had such a time period away from them to get strong, for me to elevate, for me to come to another level, that when I'm around them, me seeing them and being in that environment and them reminding me of the old John doesn't make me go, oh man, I missed that, or oh man, I want to be that again. Nope. Yeah. It makes me appreciate who I am now. It makes me go, man, I've come a long freaking way.
Yeah.
But some other guys, that's not how it is. They end up in those environments and they end up taking on that person again.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when you talk about health, man, that can be used in so many, our brains first go to our bodies, but my financial health is important. Matter of fact, if your financial health is not healthy, your physical health probably isn't healthy because it does something to you. A man with savings, a man with financial resources walks taller. They walk a little bit differently. They speak up a little bit differently, right? It's just how it is. It's really true. It's the weirdest thing too, but it's really true.
No, I would certainly agree with that. And I think it's like you said, just like we talk about other topics on, your mindset and your finances, it's having the conversation, right? We got to be much more comfortable just having these conversations, asking the questions, being comfortable, being uncomfortable with those questions. And I love how you say, being in an environment where you're both challenged and encouraged, right? We got to stop living with these stigmas and, holding on to the taboos about what it means to be a man and what it means to be healthy. And, I've heard the idea of toxic masculinity and all of these things. And so for the men, and I want to talk about this in terms of finances as well, because we've all heard that a lot of times men are, they tend to pass away earlier than women.
Right.
And oftentimes when they get sick, their wives are left, or their significant other or spouse or children is left to take care of them or to care for them. But oftentimes, right, if they're the first one to go, there's nobody there to take care of that woman when she's left behind.
Bingo.
And so that's another reason why it's important to, maintain our health for our families. And so can you speak to that, John? I know you've talked about it, how important your wife and your daughters are to you. How is maintaining your health benefiting your family, right?
Well, for one, when they wanted to go do something, I can do it. So that's why I'm at the gym every morning at 5:30. I'm working out. I'm doing intermittent fasting. Doesn't mean I don't eat what I want to eat, right? There's a time and place for everything. So I reward myself and things like that. I had some good barbecue today. But I went and hung out with a friend of mine, and we got to catch up on some things. But those are the types of things I'm doing. Many people have been asking me about my supplement suite. I didn't know it was called a suite, but they're asking me about my supplement suite. So I guess at some point I'm going to take a picture of all the supplements I take, because I do take some supplements. I don't really believe in medication, right? But if there's natural things, herbs and things like that I could put in my body to take up for the losses, right? The misses in my diet and things like that, I do that. I'm a little anal though. I do an inordinate amount of research before I take, probably way too much, but there's, it's certain proteins, and I kind of know what's going to help increase my testosterone. Last year I doubled my testosterone just how I ate. As you get older, your testosterone. So all those things are really important. And the reason it's important is because I want to be, people at my gym, they see me all the time, and they, man, so what's your fitness goal? And yeah, I got a body, configuration I would like to get to, and that type of stuff. I would like to be, I don't ever think I want to wear that size pants again, but I would like to look a certain way in my clothes and those types of things. But really, what's one of my really fitness goals? Walk my daughter down the aisle, unencumbered, with nobody's help. Mm-hmm. Really, Jessie gets married. She finds that guy. They start courting. He courts me too, right? So yeah, he's got a curriculum he has to go through to win the hand of my daughter, right? Mm-hmm. So he goes through it. If he passes that and Jessie wants him, he's the right guy. Right? I ain't even got to happily walk her down, right? Hand her over, right? I'm gonna look him dead in his eye. I got a whole little speech plan, but it ends with "It's all yours now, dog. Don't call me, I'll call you." But that's what I want. I want to be there for her. I want to be there when she has her first child. And I had her a little late in my life. I was in my 30s, my mid 30s when I had her. But I want to be there when her babies come out and be able to run and play with them. That's why I do that. I'm at physical therapy twice a week. I'm at chiropractic twice a week. All paying out of my pocket, really. I'm making sure I'm taking care of myself. It's an investment.
Yes.
And hallelujah, I get to see the return. My wife sees the return. I'm 10 years older than my wife, and I can run a longer distance than her. I'm faster. I'm 100 plus pounds heavier than her, right? But I can move, I can maneuver, right? I'm in there. I'm pushing weight. I'm pushing some real weight in the gym. Those are things I'm doing, but they're worth it. My wife and daughter are worth it. My
Yeah.
mom is worth it. There may be a time one day when I get the privilege of taking care of her. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how the Lord's going to take her or how he's going to do it, right? But she's getting up there a little bit, right? She's still a young lady. She's only 69, or she'll be 69. But it's coming. And if that day comes, I want to be there. I want to be there.
Yeah.
If she needs me to help her get to the whatever, I want to be healthy enough to do that. And then I just believe there's a lot of stuff that God still has for me to do. A lot of people that inspire and impact and help change their family's life and change the way they look at life. And you're right, not look at as a victim, but be a victor. Right? You got to be healthy to kind of do that. Not that you couldn't do it from a wheelchair. Didn't say that. Right? I know some great men who are doing it. Wow. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And they have some disabilities and so forth and so on, but wow, right? I don't even know if I'm I don't know if I could do what they're doing, right? But those are the things that I'm doing. I'm paying attention to what I'm putting in my body. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy my life. I like a good ribeye steak. I like some barbecue. I had brisket and turkey today, if you wanted to know. It was my only meal of the day. I only ate one meal today, but that was my meal. Right? Those are the type of things. But I'm also a vegetable fiend. So, today was a one-off. Normally, I'm eating a salad every single day. Normally, I'm going home to roast big pans of broccoli and peppers and mushrooms. And oh my God, that sounds so good. But those are the things I'm doing as far as my physical health. Okay. For my mental health, I'm not right this second. I'm not seeing a therapist, but I've seen a therapist. I found a great therapist that fits me. And not because he tells me what to do. A lot of people like to go to therapists, but they tell them what sounds good to them, right? Who agrees with them. I suggest you go to a therapist that don't agree with you, right? Now, they should agree with you in values. Like, for example, if I went to a non-Christian, like Bible teaching, Bible believing Christian therapist, if I didn't go to one of them, we would just be totally off. It would be off, right?
Yeah.
But I found one who believes like I believe, and but also challenges my beliefs in the same thing. Is that crazy, right? And then challenge why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, what I'm going through mentally and emotionally, and those types of things, and help me uncover what an anxiety attack is and why is that, right? And what, where did the depression come from and those types of things. And hey, been life changing to go to see therapists. And as a Black man, to be on this thing and actually even say that out loud, taboo. Taboo. What is wrong with him? He must be weak. No, the very epitome of strength is when you can talk about your weakness.
I like that.
That's just the truth, right? I had to tell that to my brother this weekend. One of my brothers, right? This weekend, he felt like he was failing in some areas, and just the fact that he could say that out loud tells me he was stronger than he even believed. And mind you, he ain't failing at all, but that's how we feel sometimes. We feel like we're letting people down, and we're letting this down, and right? And next thing you know, we take that stuff on, and it just becomes way too much for us.
Yeah.
Right. And now we are damaging things and people around us. Right. But if you go get help right away, and I'm saying all of this from experience. Right. And in my faith, there's a taboo thing that even if you go to a therapist, you lack faith. Which is funny to me, because those very same people who say that will go see a doctor. Those very same people took the COVID vaccine. Right? Those very same people. So sometimes we say some crazy stuff, right? And not back up what we're not congruent.
Yeah.
Right. And I let me say that again, maybe whoever missed it. We are probably losing. We're talking about men's health, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably losing brothers. I was probably losing brothers, and we are losing brothers. Right? And when I say brothers, I'm saying all men, right? Regardless of their color of their skin. We're losing them because we don't talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
We don't compare notes. I was telling one of my brothers Monday. Yeah, so this was yesterday. He met me. He had to drop something off to me, and he was gonna come to my office, and I wasn't in the office, so I told him, "Hey, I'm on my way to the gym. I kind of got a late workout on Monday, so it was like 11 o'clock in the morning. So I said, hey, I'm gonna be at my gym. Here's the address. If you want to drop it off there, otherwise, don't worry about it, brother. Just hold on to it." So he comes and meets me, and we're in the parking lot. And one of the things I was telling him is, being a man ain't no joke. It's not for the faint of heart. Not taking anything from being a woman, right? But I'm not a woman. I don't know what that's like. But I do know what scripture says about being a man. And then I also know that I don't know none of us that's living up to it. Right? So then being a man ain't no joke. It ain't for the faint of heart. It ain't for the punks. Right? Matter of fact, just to be a man, you have to be masculine. Just to be one. Forget toxic masculinity, that stupid crap that people have made up in their mind, right? No, you have to be masculine just to be a man, just to be prophet, protector, provider, and priest of my home. That takes some masculinity, especially when we live in a world that's trying to push everybody opposite. Now, when I say being masculine, guess what being masculine is? I cry. Growing up, my era, you weren't, boys aren't supposed to cry, and we would talk some stupid stuff, right? Boys aren't supposed to cry. They're not supposed to do this, not supposed to do that. Just like ladies aren't supposed to do this, ladies aren't supposed to do that, right? People make up all these little stupid things, right? Nope. I think one of my strengths is the fact that I can cry. I can cry in front of my wife. I've cried on stage.
You cried on here before.
Huh?
You cried on here before.
Oh, you just had to bring that up, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
I don't mind, because it shows I'm human. It shows I'm flawed. Actually, that's not a flaw though, but it shows I'm real.
Yeah.
Stuff affects me too. Right now, I'm tougher than others. But in all honesty, my toughness is really from past things I've already went through. So now when you go through it, or you see somebody go through it, it doesn't phase you the same way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I have a friend of mine who's battling through some challenging stuff right now, and it was really cool that he told me that when the challenge arose, he thought of me because he watched me go through some challenging things, and I was like, it made my challenging thing that I had to go through worth it. That he just remembered me and remembered how I walked through it.
Yeah.
Right? That was pretty cool, right? Now, I hate the fact that he has to go through what he's got to go through, and he got to walk it out. But I'm going to walk with him. He ain't alone by no stretch of the imagination. I hate the fact that he has to walk through this. But, hey, I went through it.
And that gives him, like you said, that gives him the courage to go through it with
courage, the liberation, right? You can be liberated by things other people go through, right? But all of this has to do with health. All of this has to do with, we're talking about men's health, and I know it's about men's health. This is Men's Health Month, blah blah blah. But right, even the ladies, right? Ladies are a little bit more open to talk about this stuff. They talk to their girlfriends about this stuff, right? And that's why I have a group of guys. Actually, I have a huge group, but every once in a while, I'll just shoot a text to a group of guys and say, hey, who's your mentor? And that's the general question. It's a general question. I just send that question out first just to see what the response is, right? And based on the response, I can tell if it's true, right? I really like to get a question back instead of them saying, oh, it's so and so. I'd rather them say in what area.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what that is without them. Well, if they watch this, they're gonna know now, right? Without them knowing, it's really just a challenge. Because it's a lot of men who walk their entire life and never have a mentor.
I can definitely attest to that. And so, speak to that, John. Why is it important for men, specifically, people in general? I agree, need to have a mentor or a coach or something. But why do you
Yeah.
think it's important for men to have a mentor in their lives? You know, we see some men grow up without fathers or without that male role model in their lives, and then they have to do life, right? They have to be men. They have to exhibit manhood, but they've never had an example. They've never had somebody show them
Right.
or them. And so speak to that, please. This is for the women, right? So for the women that are listening, you know, share with us why that's so important, because I couldn't agree with you more. Obviously, like, my brothers had my father, right, as a
Yep.
model. See how he treated their mother, how he treated his daughters. You know, they got to see him go out and work every day. And so they learned things, you know, about character, about providing, about protecting, right? All of those things from that example. But for men who don't have that, the importance of seeking that out. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Of course. I've talked about this, God, what, 30 years? Right? Well, we won't say 30. Because I don't think I really understood. I understood coaches. I'm an athlete, right? Understood that level, right? But a mentor is even higher level than a coach. So of course, I've probably talked about this at least, plus 20 years plus now. And it was probably in my 30s when I really start gathering mentors for my life. And I'm talking about outside of a career, outside of a business, if you will. Let's go back to your brothers and your dad, right? Your dad modeled a certain thing, and he was just walking. That's really all he was doing. Okay, he was just walking, right? And some of them picked up his limp. Some of them picked up, right, how he drug this foot, or you understand what I mean, right? Metaphorically, you just pick the stuff up. But here's the funny thing: I'm willing to bet it's certain things that your brothers didn't pick up.
I would agree.
I know your brothers. I know your dad, but I don't know him as well as you do, right? But I know your brothers.
Yeah.
Okay. So even though they had a model, they still didn't pick it all up. That's where a mentor comes in. See, our parents, as much as I love my mom and dad, as much as I appreciate them in a way I can't even articulate, because I know the sacrifice. Now at 50, I know the sacrifice it took to have me, and have 8 more behind me, and then to raise them all on one income, and all the challenges in their own relationship, yet the challenges of raising 9 different personalities. God bless them.
Yes.
And my mom always says, we survived them. When I believe they were a huge blessing to us, especially me. I think I got the best of them, as weird as that may sound. Because I got her when she was 19 and he was 21, right? And then I got to watch them progress and grow, and and do stupid stuff and mess that up, and right. But so I think I got the best of them, right? But I got to watch all of it. Some of them came in on the middle of the movie. Like my youngest, Jillian, she came in on the middle of the movie, right? And I got to watch the whole movie, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. So I appreciate them at a level that I don't even get. But my mom and dad, as much as I love them, I know their flaws. Right? Not that I don't know my mentor's flaws. Right? But there's a part of me that don't, especially younger, didn't listen to them in a lot of areas. right? Sometimes it takes you a little it takes some maturity for you to appreciate the people who raised you.
Mm.
Yeah, even the single mom, the son of the single mom, right? You ever seen them? The son of the single mom, he's like overly protective of the mom, and he wants to take care of her, right? But which is really cute, and I like that, and I really appreciate that. But he still don't, as much as it looked like he appreciate her, he don't appreciate her yet.
Mm-mm.
Not yet. Right? Okay, I'll give you an example, right? On my birthday, I call my mom and thank her for not aborting me.
Mm.
That's another level of appreciation. Because some people just believe they were supposed to have you. And if you just look at this world today, that's not true.
Yeah.
Right? The decisions people make and how they justify these decisions that they make, that's not true. So now I'm like, and I think back, my mom was 19 and she had to go home and tell her dad that she was pregnant out of wedlock.
Mm.
I don't even know how she did that. I don't even know how that played out. Like, I know the story now, but it's like, what? What were you thinking?
Yeah.
You went home from college and tell your dad. Now, he passed away. I think I was 5 or 6, maybe 4 or 5, something like that, when my grandfather passed away. But he was a man's man, and he had a standard and that type of stuff. And it was like, wow. Thank you for having me, Mom. That's how I think of it. A mentor is so important because he picks up the gaps where your parents could not only that they couldn't, right, but also wouldn't help in. There's just certain stuff my mom and dad couldn't help. That's just the facts. Right. So, and here's my parents love me for who I am. So they'll leave me that way. My mentors love me too much to leave me the way I was. See, they see the potential in me. They see the things that's beyond me. A mentor is important in so many ways. One, they challenge you yet encourage you. Right? Which is super important. But sometimes, especially when you're striving, you're trying to get places, stuff like that, you have some self-esteem issues that's just really beating you up, right? And if you find a good mentor, they're the ones who can show you, speak to you in reference to your gifts. See, when you're in the bottle, you can't read the label. You can't read your own label, but they can. And here's the good thing about a mentor. They're not gonna read a word on your label and try to change it to make it sound good. No, they just read the label. Your friends will be like, they'll see a word and they want to spruce it up for you because they want to make you feel good.
Yeah.
No, your mentor will help you change the label.
That's good. That's good.
Mentors are so valuable in so many ways. Oh my God. Mentors aren't the person who give you advice. Mentors are the person whose advice you actually follow. Yeah.
And I think that's important because would you agree that like a mentor is somebody that you have to seek out, right?
Yeah.
They
Every
don't.
One of my mentors, none of them came to me. I had to go to them, and then I had to qualify to be mentored by them. Right? Now I know, but I none of them have said this, right? But now I know I don't want to be an asshole. I know, right? No, I didn't say asshole. I said ask, A-S-K, hole, H-O-L-E. Okay. And what I mean by that is, for example, I have people who, they call me their mentor. They call me their mentor. But they almost follow nothing I tell them. Right? That's an asshole. You ask my opinion. You ask matter of fact, my life is proof. Like, it's funny how some people will be like, well, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if that's for me. But my life is proof it works. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The reason you came to me is because it's working in my life. Right? Now, I'm not saying everybody got to do things just like me. Matter of fact, none of the ones that I mentor are doing something that I'm doing. Like, none of them. Right? But I'm talking about the men. Right? None of them. But, right? The ones that I actually mentor, not the ones who say I'm their mentor, the ones I actually mentor, I watch. Now, of course, when you mentor somebody, it's not just because I told it to them today don't mean they're going to go do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to marinate. You got to take that in. You got to see, like stuff Carlton McLeod has said to me, it took me some time. I had to marinate on it. I had to really choke on it. Get it. And then I'm like, all right. And then I started making baby steps to making those adjustments. And in the way I quickly apologized to my wife. And he was the one that taught me when you're wrong, admit it quickly. Well, he just taught me when you're wrong, admit it. When you're right, shut up. I added the quickly. When you're wrong, admit it quickly. When you're right, shut up. They'll figure it out. Right? Now, most people think the first part is hard. When you're wrong, admitting it. That's not hard. That part's hard. That's not hard. The hard part is shutting up when you're right. Yeah, just being quiet. You ain't got to argue with people. You ain't got to figure it. Right? Somebody tried to tell me something in the financial industry that I know they're wrong. Matter of fact, I've forgotten more than they've learned. Yet they're trying to tell me how this is better. And okay. All right. Right? My commission bank account and the number of clients proves otherwise, but okay. Like, I'll play along. Yeah, I'll play along, right? No, you didn't just use one of my lines, but I did. I'll play along, whatever. Right? If it doesn't hurt me, if they want to keep walking through that and out of ego, right? I literally just got off a Zoom call with a potential client. We might as well say client. Technically, we closed that already. We just haven't done the paperwork, but and I've heard some feedback that the guy's been telling people in reference to me. Right? But even him, he brought up something new today. Right? So it's the third meeting. Right? I don't do business on the first meeting anyway, but here's our third meeting. We go through some things. I'm designing the plans for him. Designing them. Like, he says something, I design. Says something, design. It's his money. It's not my money. Yeah. Right? Even he brought up something today. Right? A wish, a dream. Right? Instead of me going, let me go ahead and close this, I said, no, let me do some homework. Let me make some phone calls. Matter of fact, for what he just said, I do need to make some phone calls. I can't do this one on my own. Right? Yeah. Make some phone calls, kind of hear some stuff out, think of some. I don't even know what companies to go to, but thank God I know where to go that'll give me companies that can do that. Right? So boom, I've been at this 20 years, and even I had to go, let me do some homework. So how some rookie been here 7 months, 2 years, right? They ain't made money. They ain't made as much money in a year than I make in a month. Yet they know what's better product. Give me a break, man. Right? Same thing with the Word of God. Just because you've been a Christian for a long time doesn't mean you know the scriptures the best. You see what I'm saying? It's about your intentions. How well did you do your deal? That plays a huge part, right? But I've had my blessing, my I guess you would say my secret weapon is that I embrace mentorship. I think that's my secret weapon. I'm not that smart of a guy, but I embrace mentorship, right? And what's weird is I work in an industry, and I got mentors who don't work in that industry, yet they mentor me in my industry.
Mm.
You know why? Because they have a different perspective.
That's good.
Yeah, on top of that, they're mentoring. Plus, the ones I'm talking about, they mentor people from all different walks of life. For goodness sake, so I'm just one of them. But it's really cool. But they are good in my industry. Like they don't work in my industry, but they're financially they're savvy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And a big part of what I do, really, what am I? What am I? And I was on a radio show, podcast type thing that last week, and I like the way the guy introduced me. Right. I'm a life strategist and financial strategist. That's really what I am. I'm a life strategist and a financial strategist. Why a life strategist? Because I'm a Renaissance man, I'm verse. I can talk to people just about anything when it comes to health and medications and all that stupid stuff. Probably because I'm so anal about what I put in my own body. I've read so much. Okay. I know what apple cider vinegar does in the body and why, right? Is it acidic or is it alkaline? I understand that stuff, right? I understand what ashwagandha is. I understand what all these different things are. Probably mainly what's good for men, a little bit for women, because I have women in my house, so I read that stuff. So I can talk to that. I've coached people in numerous businesses, built businesses, and then coached people in numerous businesses. So that's why I can talk about that stuff, right? I've had a failed marriage, and now I have an incredible marriage. Maybe that's why I can talk to that stuff. I've sucked as a dad, and I'm still working on becoming a good one. Maybe that's why I can talk to that. Right? I'm probably a better husband than I am a dad, right? As serious I am about them, right? How do I judge that, right? Some people say, "Well, I'm a great father." You can't say that. That's your child, right? They say, "I'm a great husband." If your wife, like I see this at certain churches I speak at, I'm not gonna name them, right? If your wife always frowning and giving people a hard time, I'm not sure you that great of a husband. Why isn't she more happy?
Right.
She causing trouble for everybody else, right? Your child all jacked up, doing all kind of crazy stuff. Are you a good father? I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but
No, you're good. You're good. No, that's
these
good.
are things I think about all the time. I believe it or not, I think about this stuff I'm talking about all the time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I drove my daughter to work. She's a hustler. I have no idea where she got that from, but
Really.
so she's a hustler, right? But just our conversation on the drive to her job, I didn't like how it was going. We didn't say a lot, right? She's having trouble with linking her calendar to my calendar, right? That's what the thing is. It's not a big deal, right? But if you want me to take you to work, right? What if I schedule an appointment to see a client at the same time you got to be at work? This is not working. You need to link your calendar to my calendar, right? I've always taught my kids my life doesn't revolve around you. Yours revolve around me because I'm the adult. I'm the father. I'm the one that drives. I'm not one of those parents that, I got to be at soccer. I got to be. No, you'll go if I have time to take you. You'll be in karate if I financially want to support it, and not because of you. Right? And that's just what. Hey, any other parents doing something different? That's on you. I'm just telling you what we do, right? Our daughters never slept in the bed with us. I ain't finna have no 9-year-old still sleeping in my bed, right? Conduct permitted is conduct taught, right? But in being a father, right? I'm a lot better than I was with the first one. She's 27. It's two different worlds. How I am, right? But I still feel there's room for improvement with my 16-year-old. It's like, so she got out the car and she's so wonderful. All right, bye, Dad. All right, baby, have a good day, right? But in me, I'm like, because I'm driving, but I can't articulate to her how to fix her calendar either. And I know it's frustrating her because that's like the 5th time I've talked to her about it. So it's frustrating her. She don't like to be told something twice.
Yeah.
Right? She like to take care of it. I get that. I'm her in that sense. Right? But in being a father, those types of things are a big deal. Now, that's a health issue too. When you can't in a healthy way, have confrontation, deal with situations, all of those things play a part. And all of this stuff I'm talking about ain't stuff I just read. I've experienced all of this. I've experienced anxiety attacks in dealing with my daughter. Me. Because I want to be better. Now, you've heard me say this numerous times. None of what I'm talking about doesn't matter if you don't care. Matter of fact, if you listen to this and I sound like the Charlie Brown teacher, it just means you don't care. You can log off now. It just means you don't care. Because I always test people when they say they care, when they say they love, when they say that. Is there any proof that you care? Is there any proof that you love? Like, how many books are on your shelf right now on how to be a better father? How many books are on your shelf on how to be a better mother? When was the last time you've been to a conference? When was the last time you just sat around other good men and asked them questions in reference to their fatherhood? Like, I have one friend, his name's Stephen. And Stephen is writing, he's reading through the scriptures, he's reading through the Bible, and writing notes in this specific Bible for his child, for his son, to hand this Bible over to his son. So his son, when he reads the scripture, he can see his dad's thoughts as he's walking through that. I'm not even that good. I have never done that. Right? But I admire stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't do it. Right? But I admire that. First of all, the fact that he even thought of that. That's a huge deal in and of itself. Yeah. Even if he don't finish. That was big. If I know him, he's kind of anal. He's going to finish. But, matter of fact, he might do it twice or something. It's just the type of guy he is, right? But that's probably why he's successful in his business world, too. Right? He's an attorney. Probably why he's, successful in that world. Probably why he has a decent marriage. Still has challenges, but still have decent marriage. Do you hang around guys like that? Did you even know that much about them? Did you know that that's important to them? Right? I think other guys and what they do can inspire you to do other things. And all of this, as much as it sounds like I'm rambling, all of this deals with your health.
Yeah.
Because I date my wife, I'm healthy. Not because I have date nights. We don't have a set date night. We're not Thursday at 7. That's not us, right? But I'm dating her all the time, man. I'm flirting with her. It's at a point now, if I walk by her in the kitchen or our bathroom or anything and I don't grab her, she gets upset. She thinks I'm mad at her or something. Pretty cool. Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I do it on purpose just to see her reaction. But
That's good. That's good.
But those are things. My wife sent me a text. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. I think it was on Instagram. That she sent me this thing. Hold on. I'm sure I can find it. And it was basically a thing that showed that if you sleep next to somebody you love, you'll live a longer life or something like that. Yeah, here it is. Sleeping next to a loved one helps you fall asleep faster, reduces depression and anxiety, and can also help you live longer.
That's good stuff.
Right? And she's so right. She sent this to me. I'm putting y'all into all of my stuff at 9:06 p.m. on Sunday evening. Now, mind you, she was just in the room behind me at our home. I was in one room, she was in another room, and she sent that to me. And guess what? Within 10 minutes, I went into our bedroom and got into bed with her. And I actually did fall asleep faster.
That's good.
We had a long Sunday, but
Mm-hmm.
all of those things have to deal with health. And if we don't talk about this stuff, if we're not more transparent, it's really bad. And
Yeah.
I dealt with this in the military a lot, especially the mental health stuff.
Mm-hmm.
From my era, I think they're a lot better today. But from my era, nobody talked about what they were battling with. What we like,
Yeah.
buddies of mine on my first ship. So I got to my first ship in 1991, and a few months later, 1992, 3 guys on our ship passed away. They got caught in a paint locker. The CO2 extinguisher went off. Right, these guys got locked in this airtight, watertight room with a CO2 extinguisher going off. So it drew all the oxygen out of that room. The purpose of that particular system is to put out a fire in that room. Well, think about if a human standing in there, it's taking all the oxygen out of them too, right? So once the system turns itself off, we can open the door again. We pull these 3 guys out. They're blue, like they're blue, like blue with blood coming out of their eyes. And the protocol is we still got to do CPR on them until the base fire department paramedics get to the ship. So we all had to do CPR on these guys. That's here we are 30 years later. And we're realizing our guys have PTSD from that situation. Is that crazy?
No.
But here it is, all these years, we hadn't even talked about it. We talked about it in private, a certain day, like the anniversary of that happening. Right? On our Facebook group, we all have a Facebook group for the guys that was on that ship during that time. And people were like, hey, this is the anniversary. Hey, you guys remember when, right? And we name the guys. We know their names.
Yeah.
It's just, so these are guys you live with, and now they're gone.
Yeah.
You had to perform CPR on them. I had to perform CPR on them for my round, if you will. You take turns. That's something, huh?
Yeah. And I think we gotta definitely be much more transparent and open and vocal about what's going on with us mentally, right? And because it's such a taboo topic, it's definitely something that I'm teaching my girls. That hey, be able to talk to. If you're feeling something, express it, right? Either verbally or if you cry, like it's okay for you to cry and let that emotion out, but you can't hold it in, right? You can't keep that stuff in because it affects, right? It's going to show up in some way, shape, or form. It's going to show up, whether it's through your schoolwork or it's through your relationships with other people. It's going to show up. And so our health is so important. And, the cliche, your health is your wealth, but it's so true. You can't build wealth if you're not healthy. We talked about that, the other month when we talked about mental health. And if you don't take care of your health, you'll lose your wealth trying to, take care of your health. So it definitely goes hand in hand. And so I know, people are like, y'all are supposed to be talking about money. Right? It's all connected, right? This is all so important. Your mindset when it comes to your family, your health, impacts your ability to build wealth. And so we got to address all of those areas. We got to have these open conversations, just like we are having, conversations about money, which is a taboo topic. We can have conversations about health, which can be taboo. Conversations about politics or, society and social norms and, herd mentality, whatever. We just got to be open to having these conversations and not just, putting blinders on and, following the crowd. I love there was a quote by Tony Dungy that Mickey references all the time, and then he says the surest way to fail in life is to follow the crowd. And so we don't want to just follow the crowd. We want to give people things to think about. We want them to question, why they are where they are, and to truly be themselves and authentically be who they were created to be. And so I so appreciate you, John, for giving your insight tonight. I'm just going to recap some of the bullet points, right? And I love how you started it off. Are we losing brothers, right? Because we're not talking about things, right? Or talking about our health. We got to have those conversations more and more and more. That's why I love that we're able to do this every week. And I love that we have like the different perspectives, right? I'm a millennial, right? One of the older millennials, apparently. Yeah. And you're from Gen Z, Gen X. And so that intergenerational conversation, I think, is also so very important in our health, right? Hearing those stories, we got to talk about it a few weeks ago. I told you when I came back from my uncle's memorial service, having those intergenerational conversations, you hear the history and the stories and you have a better appreciation. And like you said earlier, right, it takes maturity to appreciate who raised you. I love that. I love that. But because it's having those conversations, it's understanding what they experienced and what they went through in order to provide for you or to give you the life that you have. But it's also important that we have healthy relationships. So ask yourself, how healthy are your relationships? Right? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Right? I love how Jim Rohn says it. What do they have you believing? What do they have you thinking? What do they have you reading? Right? And is that okay? Right? So we gotta question, right? Ask questions. And that's something that my father taught us all the time growing up, is that don't just accept what's given to you. Don't just accept what somebody tells you. You gotta read and study and learn for yourself. And so evaluate that relationship. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. We got to evaluate the relationships that we have in our lives. And, the relationship that I have with you and with Yabby is something that I value. Right. So it's worth taking the time to, put the kids in the other room and close the door just to have these conversations to get some insight. You mentioned that if you're financially unhealthy, it impacts your physical health. Right. So it all matters. And so we got to take care of our health. Otherwise, it's going to affect our finances, and we got to take care of our finances, or it's going to affect our health. And taking care of your health is an investment, right? I love that you mentioned that. You have to be intentional about it, right? It's not going to happen by chance, right? It's got to be what he said. I love it. I think it's Rob Wilson. I'm giving him credit for it because I heard him say it. He says you could, if you're not intentional about being wealthy, you'll accidentally end up poor, right? So everything requires intention, in our health, in our wealth, in our families, in parenting, right? It all is about congruence, right? You got to be congruent in all of those areas. And this is one of my favorites, right? The epitome of strength is when you can talk about your weakness. And so knowing the areas that you need to work on, right? The areas that need improvement, that's the only way that you're going to get better. Sometimes we need that adversity, or we always need that adversity or that challenge to test us in order for us to get stronger, better. And so we got to be able to talk about those things and speak our truth, if you will. Yeah. And for the men out there, you said it takes masculinity to be prophet, protector, priest, and provider for your home. And so if y'all didn't take anything else away from this conversation, I want the men to go away with that. There's nothing wrong with being masculine. Look, I promise you, women out here, we tired of all of the carrying the weight, the load, right? I'm gonna speak for the single women out here. We don't want to carry the load. We carry the load out of necessity, not out of desire. So we have no problem following and being led by a man that's masculine and willing to be prophet, protector, priest, and provider.
Healthy masculinity. Healthy masculinity. I'll say this and then we'll wrap up. Healthy masculinity. It has to be, my masculinity isn't to hurt my wife, it's to protect her and to comfort her and to encourage her and lift her up. My wife is as strong as you are, and you know how strong my wife is. She's just a freaking rock star. But one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons if she is such a rock star is because she's comfortable being who she is because I'm her covering. Mm. So it's about being healthy, a healthy masculinity, right? That shows strength when you need to, but also shows the timidity when it needs to be there as well. showing meekness, if you will, right? Strength under control.
That's good. That's
So
good.
super important. And I appreciate you. Our relationship is just freaking phenomenal. I know you call me one of your mentors, and I consider that a privilege that you say that. But it is really fun to be able to talk about these things, and for me to be open. Be open about these things. And I'm glad you talked about how don't follow the crowd. I had the opportunity to be among some incredible men last Wednesday as we were speaking into this young man who's 21, who just turned 21 on that day. And his dad had orchestrated. His dad has some pull, I guess you would say. He's a man of stature. So he pulled some men together, and I was one of the men he called to be there to speak into his son as he turned 21. And it was just really cool to be around all of these incredible men, podcast people, and former colonels, and all these multi-millionaire, all these type of business people, stuff we do. One of the first black physicists, and just Princeton guy, right? All this different stuff, really cool, right? But one of the things I saw there, right? One of the things we echoed to that young man is don't follow. If you look weird, if you look different, you're probably on the right track.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to do these, and I'm hoping people get some value out of it, and hopefully they see the flaws in us, and they see that we're not perfect, but we're two people that's not afraid to talk about this stuff, not afraid to come to the table with this stuff, and hopefully it helps somebody. I know that's my heart, and I know it's yours. It's for people to be impacted and do well. So even though we don't always talk about money, you guys, right? There's plenty of things. I believe money is really just a byproduct of who you become.
For sure.
That's all it is. And I think the better you become and you know how to apply those things, the more wealth that will come to you. But let's be healthy spiritually, mentally, physically first, before we be focused on the and that's not an excuse for you to be lazy either. Okay.
No, this is good. This has been awesome, John. I certainly, like I said, appreciate you sharing your perspective, your insight, and I know this will help. People, if not today, in the future, they'll be able to take a look at this and just get some value from it. Give them some things to think about, and of course, for those who are looking for some assistance financially, you can always reach out, schedule a complimentary consultation with John or myself. John's link is there, calendly.com/JC Epting, or myself, Majida Bay, calendly.com, Prosperity Passengers /financial consultation. And that'll give you an opportunity to assess where you are, right? Get a financial x-ray done. Yes. With your permission, I'm stealing this all from you, John. Right, with your permission, we can act as your financial doctor. Check your vitals, make sure that you're financially where you need to be, and if not, what you need to do to improve and get to where you want to be. So, appreciate you all tuning in. Definitely stay tuned. We're going to actually over the next couple of weeks, we're going to change the theme, and so we're going to be talking about the ABCs of wealth. Right, we got roughly 30 weeks left in the year, 26 to 30 weeks left in the year. And so for September's Life Insurance Awareness Month. So we're going to spend that month on life insurance, of course. But so between now and the end of the year, we're going to talk about the ABCs of wealth. So every week we're going to be coming to you with a letter of the alphabet and how it's related to wealth. Because there's so many different aspects or things that we can and it's not just money, right? Wealth is not just money.
No.
So there's a lot of things that we can bring into that conversation. So look out for that. The ABCs of wealth will be our theme, to kind of finish the year out. And I really appreciate all of those who tune in, share this. We appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. So, John, you want to close us out?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna just say one more thing in reference to health, and this really focuses on mental health. I posted this on my family group today, right? And it's actually a picture of Robin Williams, and it says, "People don't fake depression; they fake being okay." So remember that and be kind. Okay. So, hey, talk about things so that you can get healthy, and let's take some other people with you as you get healthy too. All right. Take care, guys. See you guys next week.
Good night.